Hey guys, Born to Lose here, and today we're going to be doing another knife review. Today we're reviewing the Gerber Silver Trident, and this is actually the first quote-unquote survival knife I ever bought. Now, a lot of knives have come out since then. I've had this for a few years, and I've purchased a lot of knives since then, and I actually don't use this as my main survival or camping knife, and for a very good reason that I will go over. But I mean, that's not to say it's not a good knife. So everything has to kind of be judged on its own merit. So I wanted to start the review by going over the sheath, which I usually always do in all my knife reviews. So I'm going to remove the knife and let's take a look at the sheath. This is your standard nylon sheath. You've got Velcro belt attachment. You've got another Velcro attachment down here on the back towards the bottom for attaching to probably a vest, molly, compatibility. But then up here, on top of the Velcro belt attachment, you've got another one and a cross strap right here. I don't know if you can see that. And I don't really know what that's for. If somebody knows and wants to leave a comment, please do, because I don't know what that's for. And to be honest, this gets just kind of ridiculous up here for me. I haven't used this knife much at all, to be honest. In the few years I've owned it, I have used it, but not a lot. Hasn't seen heavy use, and already you can see there's some fraying going on with the sheath. Not so. I mean, it's not too big a deal, but worth noting. In the front, you've got a pouch for, you can put a sharpening stone in there, flashlight. It's a pretty decent sized pouch. I could put a Surefire light in there, probably no problem. And there's little grommets for me to attach 550 cord. I don't have any cord attached to this sheath right now. As far as the lock-in, you've got a plastic tab here. You've got a notch on the knife, and it locks, but it's already, I mean, you can see the play and hear it as well. Not the tightest lockup. It's not going to come out. If I shake it, it doesn't come out. But it's not the tightest lockup. It's pretty easy to come out. And even when it is in, there's a lot of play there. Now, of course, you do have the cross strap here with a button enclosure. That does eliminate some of the play, as you can hear. So it's not quite as bad. So that's the sheath. Let's take a look at the knife, though. So here it is. Okay. It's, I believe it's a full tang. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's a full tang. It's got the standard Gerber markings. Made in Portland, Oregon, USA. As all Gerber knives are made, as far as I know. On the back, you have additional markings there. It says Watson Harsey Silver Trident, which is the knife. It's 154 cm stainless steel blade. And as you can see, we've got partial serration and double-edged once it comes up past the serration here. Now, this is why I wouldn't use this as a survival knife. This is thin steel, and in my opinion, this is a combat knife. This is for thrusting, piercing, stabbing, hence the double edge. And there is a thickness to the bottom part of the tang where it meets the hilt. You have a full hilt here. But if I'm batoning, I could baton on this with my stick or whatever instrument I'm using to baton through wood. But really, when I'm batoning, I want the full surface area on the top of the blade to baton with. To hit right here to drive the knife down through a log is not very good, because several times, you'll know if you've batoned, the knife can get hung up in the wood, and at that point you're going to want to hit the edge of the knife, the front edge of the knife, towards where the point is, to bring it down through the wood. And if you've got a double blade there, you're just not going to use that for batoning, and you're certainly going to ruin your edge on that side. So that's why I say, that's one of the main reasons I say this is not a survival/camping knife. It's a combat knife. Also, the blade is just not thick enough for those duties for me. you want a really heavy blade, thick blade, like the SE5 that I've previously reviewed, the Rat RC5. Now they're called SE, so SE5. That was a heavy duty knife. That is my go-to camping and survival knife at the moment. Now that's not to say I don't like all Gerber products. Far from it. You remember the first serious review I did on YouTube was this, the Gerber 06 Fast. I love this knife. This is my EDC, okay? I carry this every day. And it's a great little knife. Great lockup, great automatic knife. I love it. And for the holidays, for Christmas, I just got this, a Gerber LMF2. And I haven't field tested it yet, but it seems to be a quality blade. I would use this knife for batoning or survival purposes way before I would use this knife. And I'm not going to get into specifics now because I'm going to be doing a review on this. But that just goes to show there are Gerber products that I like. Now, is Gerber what it used to be? Not necessarily, but I'm not anti-Gerber by any means. Okay. Your hilt here, I can't remember exactly what material this is made up of, but it's almost like a hard polymer, but I know this is their own composite material, so it is very strong. It's got little nubs on there for grip, which is kind of cool. You don't see, I haven't seen that pattern really on any other knives. Trying to get a close-up for you. And one feature I do like about this knife, and you can see it's been well used, is the butt cap on the end of the knife. Instead of having a window break or, a pommel like we do on the Gerber LMF2 or like I do on my Rat knife, this is great for hammering duties. You could use it as a blunt force weapon, an impact weapon, even though it's not pointed. I mean, this will certainly do that job. But I've used it many times for pounding in ground stakes, for my tent. Those MSR groundhogs is that I'm using. This thing did the job just fine. When I didn't have a hammer on me, this thing did the duty just fine to set up for camp. So that is a feature I like. Now, you do have a couple of screws running through the handle, so it's possible that this is not a full tang. I mean, sometimes they do drill through the blade, but it is possible it's not a full tang. And sometimes they'll do that too. I know Gerber likes to separate it because, at least leave a little bit of space, because they want to separate the impact point from the blade point. I know they did that on the LMF2. You've got a little lanyard hole here. You can run some cord through there, so that's nice. And you do have a lot of jimping on this knife. You've got jimping by the hilt right here. You've got jimping on this side. And again, that's to use probably for striking. So you've got that there. So it's got both sides, which is really nice. This one is a little bit more spread out, probably because of the amount of force you're going to be using on this part. And then you've got a tighter jimping over here. So again, I mean, it depends what your purpose is. With this knife, for me, I keep it around. I like the knife. It's a cool knife. Do I make use of it? Not really. If you're deployed, you might make use of this knife, It's a good combat knife, and it'll get tasks done. I can make fuzz sticks with this knife. I can cut open MREs. I could do, there are many tests this knife can perform. The impact hammer on the bottom, it really extends the capabilities of this knife. But for a survival knife, not so much. I wouldn't use this for camping or survival activities. I have several other knives that are go-to knives before I go to this knife. And I will be doing a comparison. I'll be doing a knife throwdown of all the knives the main knives that I'm using now, and I think I'll include this one, just for comparison's sake, because it's very different from the other 3 knives that I'll be putting in that comparison. So it'll be interesting to see how it compares. I cannot remember what I paid for this at the time. I got it through Amazon, and I don't have the original box anymore. That was before I got in the habit of saving boxes. But it comes in the standard gray Gerber knife box that they all come in. And it's a little bit of a detriment to me now because I have so many boxes lying around. But that's pretty much my review on this knife. Take it for what it's worth. It's I think it'd be a great tactical knife, It's a well-built knife. It's very sturdy. It doesn't seem like the craftsmanship is really lacking on it. But it's not a knife, again, that I would go to first for survival or camping. So that's pretty much it. That's my review of the Gerber Silver Trident. Take care, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.